Also, Scott Thippenow here. Welcome back to a brand new live stream video. So, I am trying on like something new for my live streams because I don't know what's going on with the YouTube live stream, but w- but this could be good, And yeah, so and it's the quality's better, and yeah, so yeah, so so yeah, so for my live from streams. Uh, Hang on, I'll be right back, you guys. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. You guys, I was just checking on to see what the loud commotion was. But yeah, I'll be reacting to Jaiden Animation's Tostadas videos. So the first one is I got a cat. Hopefully, it does better than anticipated. Sorry about the ads.
For people who have
Alright, yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but yeah, but yeah, feel free to ask me some questions and everything. So yeah, yeah, and also don't forget to like and subscribe to Jade Animation's channel. And if you really want to see more like Tostada videos on our channel, be sure to comment as much as possible, cause you know how the phrase goes: "Ask and you shall receive." But yeah, so like and subscribe. Okay. Alrighty. If the audio is a bit too loud here, let me know and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, let's get started with hang on, you guys. Mom, give you her phone. That's my phone. No phone case, okay? Next time you see me doing the stream, don't bother me, okay? Okay. Are you doing it with Jaiden? No, I'm reacting to a video. Sorry about that. Okay. So sorry about that, you guys. So, okay, let's get started. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
For people who have been around for a while, you might be seeing the title and thinking, Jaiden, aren't you allergic to cats? And to that, I'd say, yes. Kind of. I'm actually not sure anymore. And for the people who know anything about me, you might see the title and think, Jaiden, cats are literally the #1 natural predator to birds. And to that, I also say, yes, that one's 100% proven fact. So let me back up a bit and explain how we got here, because all the cards in the world were stacked against the idea of me getting a cat. Growing up, I was irrefutably and absolutely allergic to cats. My best friend had like 3 of the things, and every time I would hang out or sleep over at her house, I would be a sneezy, watery-eyed, snotty mess. Can I have some water? Given the fact my brother was also allergic to cats, it was set that we were a dog family. My whole life I went around not giving cats a second thought. I never had anything actually against them, but since I was forced to stay 20 feet away from them or suffer the consequences, I just couldn't get to know them. Plus, as a kid, dogs were always more appealing. They're more likely to be bigger fans of playing, running around, be more approachable, genetically bred unconditional love, and can overall be more forgiving. Cut to like 2 catless decades for me later, and I'm meeting Jacob for the first time at his place. As we're hanging out in his living room, his cat Fraser comes over and greets me. Fraser is extremely social and vain, so he's always expecting nothing less than a never-ending stream of attention from the people. Even though he's very cute and distinguished, I deployed my typical foolproof plan of don't touch the cat. Fraser realizes he's not getting any attention out of me and sits down nearby on the couch, but a bit later, Jacob's other cat ends up making an appearance. This one's Taylor. She's normally really shy and hides, but does really like women, which I am. Taylor ended up crawling onto me and making herself really comfy in my womanly lap. Jacob, knowing I'm allergic, offered to take her away, but this was actually the first time a cat has ever done something like this to me. I've always been a bit of a cat magnet, if you want to call it that, because I act like they don't exist, which they interpret as me not pushing their boundaries and creating a comfortable environment for them to come up to me on their own terms. But never have I felt like a cat has chosen me like this before. I told Jacob I'm happy to let her stay comfortable on me, and I'll just reap the consequences of my sowing later on. This was my first extremely positive experience with the cat, and I honestly felt really happy and special and wanted to enjoy it. A few hours later, I'm saying my goodbyes, and during the drive back home, I realized I was completely fine. No sneezing, no itchy eyes, straight up nothing. I was so confused and curious. Thus, the start of my little cat experiment began. Every time I went over to Jacob's place, I would let the cats be as social as they wanted with me. If Taylor wanted to sit by me, I'd let her. If Fraser wanted attention, I would pet him. At one point, while we were watching a movie, Taylor literally decided to lay down on my neck, filling every one of my breaths with cat dander and hair. And you know what happened? No reaction, not even a little drip of mucus. Somehow, sometime, I
Oh.
You, just you, building your app on base 44.
I'd grown out of my cat allergy and never noticed. Apparently, every 7 years, people's allergies have the chance to change. Maybe being surrounded by my friends' cats all throughout my childhood could have helped my body get more familiar with them. Either way, I've now unlocked the skill to survive cats. Oh, guys, it was incredible. Now that I'd been freed from my shackles, I immediately started taking time to get to know cats more. Instantly, they felt so much more cute and cool and approachable, and I was really starting to like them more, especially since every time I would hang out at Jacob's place, Taylor would walk over and be around me and purr, and oh, it was amazing to be loved by a cat. So I really like cats now. And after some time, I decided I wanted one too. Jacob and I decided to peruse a local cat rescues website just to see what cats were available. I don't want to get one right away. There's a lot I have going on, but it doesn't hurt to— oh my god, that one! I want that one so bad. It's so cute. What's its name? Tostada? Tostada, my beloved. We have to send in an application. We have to. Hi, my name's Jaiden. I love this cat.
God.
Please let me adopt it. Please. What? You guys know me. I'm weak-willed and impulsive. My first mistake was liking cats to begin with. The rescue reached out a few days later for a cat screening interview to make sure we would be a good fit to be cat parents. After being approved, they told us we could pick any cat we wanted that was in their care. Of course, I asked about Tostada, but we were given the unfortunate news that she had already been adopted. No! We looked at the other cats available on their website, but unfortunately none of them really stood out to me. The rescue ended up inviting us to a little Meet the Cats event they were hosting where we could see all the cats they had up for adoption in person, which was awesome because that was actually the first time I'd ever actually seen and held a kitten before. It was amazing. But as cute and tiny as they all were, there still wasn't one that called to me. I pried Jacob away from the kittens, headed home, and we started waiting. Every day I would check the rescue's cat list to see if any new ones caught my eye. I didn't even know what I was looking for, but waited for the universe to send me my perfect cat nonetheless. One morning I refreshed the page and saw one new kitten added. A tortie they found in some dumpster named Scrabble, with the biggest eyes and forehead I'd seen in my life. Something about this bizarre little creature called to me. I messaged the rescue about Scrabble and they told me she's available, putting me in touch with Scrabble's foster parents. Every day they sent me new little pictures of kitten Scrabble, and every photo I fell more and more in love with her. She seemed so silly and playful, and those eyes. We got on a video call and they told me all about how big of a personality she has. Out of the 5 other kittens they were fostering, she was by far their favorite. The whole time we were talking, Scrabble was flipping around in their arms and looking at the camera with her giant orbs. I left that call knowing I found my cat. I needed to have little kitten Scrabble. Meeting her in person only cemented it. She was shy at first, but after flinging around her worm toy, she immediately started hopping around and being the life of the party. I talked a lot to her foster parents and they just gushed about how they wish they could keep her since they all loved her so much. Even though the rescue called her Scrabble, obviously that was more of a placeholder name. The foster parents called her Cammy, but neither of those really fit to me. However, I knew one name that I liked. Tostada. Yeah, I stole another kitten's name and pasted it on mine. So what? Big deal. Tostada is a great name. My Tostada is way more of a Tostada than the other Tostada anyway. Look at her. I would have left with little Tostada in my arms that moment if I could. But unfortunately, Jacob and I were going out of town for 3 million weeks and had to wait to take her home until after we came back. She was all I could think about the entire time. I was shoving Tostada photos in everyone's face every chance I got. The foster parents were sending Tostada updates every day. I was overflowing with yearning for this cat. She was growing and learning about the world without me. Take me home to my child. Literally, the moment Jacob and I landed, we drove straight from the airport to the foster home to pick her up. I could not wait. We arrived home with +1 Tostada. I couldn't believe it. I have a mammal now. And sorry, other mammal owners, but it's the best mammal in the whole wide universe. Jacob and I spent the entire day playing with her, letting her get used to her new surroundings. She was so cute and so tiny. Here's a video of her eating wet food with a big old chomp. As someone who's owned birds for 7 years at that point, it felt so strange to have a pet that was significantly less fragile. And also draws significantly less blood. You mean this thing can't fly up and get hit by the ceiling fan? Insane! I've had Tostada for a while now. She's 2 years old at the time of me posting this, and let me tell you, this thing has become a creature. First of all, eyes, still giant, and she never blinks. Look at this. She was sitting on my desk looking like that long enough for me to notice, get my phone out of my pocket, pull up the camera app, put the camera in her face, and take a photo.
That's me.
And here's like 4 more. She is also not that smart. I'm sure you can deduce that by how she looks, but this thing has a single brain cell, and it's just another version of herself up there with a joystick. Jacob and I are fully convinced she can only form a few thoughts a day, and only in single word nouns. Evidently, Tostada is also very scared of everything, always has been. Loud noises, quiet noises, no noises, movement of any kind. Even Jacob, a person she's been around all her little life post-dumpster. There's been times where he'll be at his desk, moves his chair just a smidge, and she's darting out of the room. One time we were trying to explain to some friends how skittish she genuinely can be, and demonstrated it by grabbing a toy literally in front of her, raising it up a bit, lightly dropping it on the floor, still in front of her, and she bolted. You know how cats are genetically built to be good at balancing? Well, Tostada can't even do that. She trips and falls and misplaces her feet all the time. On multiple occasions, she has tried to walk across my L-shaped desk and just missed and fell down. That's like the one thing that makes a cat, and nope, doesn't hit the mark there either. She's gotten better, but as a kitten, Tostada couldn't even jump. After I built her first cat tower, I watched as she attempted to jump up to the 2nd level, not quite make it, and had to slam her arms down on the thing to hoist herself up like she was mountain climbing. But oh, is she the sweetest little thing. When I got a cat, I was expecting it to want its own space, come around when it wants, you know, general cat things. But this creature follows me from room to room with those high beams of hers. She sits on my lap while I'm at my computer, lays on my giant Pokemon plushes, mostly just looks up at me from the floor and just stares. When I'm sleeping, she'll just crawl into bed and tuck herself up right next to me. Look at all these photos of her straight up on me when I'm
Oh, another ad. I'm so sorry.
sleeping. Don't look too close so I don't have makeup on. Bedtime is sacred to her. She loves bedtime. If I'm working late, Tostada will come into my office around 9 or 10 p.m., aka past Tostada bedtime, and just start crying, scratching on my chair, rolling around on the floor. It's pitiful. And if I still don't move after that, she'll go into the bedroom and drag over her string toy she always plays with. It's just so sad and pathetic. I always play string with her when she brings it over though, don't worry. But lately, she's picked up another routine habit, which is pats. Not all cats like the pats, but Tostada lives off them. It's when you just slap a cat's butt and it looks like you're hurting them, but they actually love it. However, Tostada's really particular about pats. First of all, I'm the only one allowed to give her pats. Jacob has tried and she runs away scared and offended every single time. Second, she has to receive pats on a specific spot on the floor of the closet. If I try to give her pats in like my office, she bolts to her floor spot, staring at me to continue them over there. Also, she begs to be pat every single night. Like clockwork, she'll sit like a gargoyle in front of the closet and cry pitifully until I come over there. Now, when I finally come over for pats, she'll flop on the floor and start horizontally rock climbing her way across the floor with her claws and tangle herself up in the Ethernet cables while I keep up the pats. You think I'm joking, but I'm very much not. This is the only way she accepts pets, and I have to give them to her every night or else she's miserable. Tostada's world is so small. She's really just around me, Jacob, Taylor, and
really like the
Frasier,
name
but she
Tostada.
loves
It's
her
so
simple
cute.
family so much. When Kitten Tostada first met Frasier, she was terrified of him. She'd been around other adult cats before, but she'd never seen a flat cat in her life, and she was mortified. Of course, she's since warmed up to him, and they play together and hang out all the time. They're best friends. But Tostada loves Taylor. Always has. She looks up to Taylor like a little baby sister admiring her cool, awesome older sibling. Unfortunately, Taylor hates it. They literally have a SpongeBob Squidward type of sibling relationship, and Tostada is so oblivious to it. Taylor has annoyingly swatted at Tostada so many times just for existing around her that Tostada now thinks it's a fun little game they play and will start chasing and swatting back at Taylor happily, not understanding cat social cues. Of course, never in a way that's too far, but just enough to get on Taylor's nerves even more. Between the three of them, they all have such different little personalities and relationships to each other. It's made our lives so much more entertaining. And to anyone concerned about the birds, don't worry. I've got Ari and Tofu very separated from the cats. They're safe in their own blocked off room, connected by a double door system that ensures no possible interaction between bird and cat. If anyone is thinking about getting cats and birds as pets, it is possible, but just make sure the two are very separate, especially if you have smaller birds like conures or budgies. I'm sure there's people out there that have trained their cats to be fine around a pet bird, but to me, all it takes is one accident or attack for you to just not have a bird anymore. Plus, having the two of them takes a huge amount of time and commitment. I've said it before and I'll say it forever. I love my birds to death, but they do not make good pets for the very large majority of people. In terms of allergies, I do think I was originally still a little bit allergic to Tostada, ironically. When I first got her, I was sneezy and sniffling. Nothing allergy pills couldn't fix, and it never was as bad as my original cat allergy. But I think I've been growing out of that one too, because nowadays I don't have any reaction to her at all. Bodies are a mystery. I am building my immunity to everything. Next up is rat poison. I didn't think I would make a video talking about this thing, but Tostada's just got such a funny little personality and has become such a big part of my life. She may be the description of autism, but I love her more than the world itself, and I know I'm the center of her little life too. I don't even see her as a cat. She's just a little creature that follows me around looking weird, but I love it, and I'm so glad I grew out of my cat allergy just so I can have her. It really has been so different owning a cat, mainly because I know Tostada won't just bite me at any given chance.
Okay. So that was that was Jaiden Animations I Got a Cat video. So the next video that I'm gonna react to is talking about my cat again. So okay. There we go. Alrighty. So, like I said for our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and click the bell button. And let's get started in 3, 2, 1.
I was really surprised with how many people enjoyed hearing about Tostada. Like, there were a lot. So it's about time I tell more stories, because she's somehow gotten even more creaturous since the last video. Tostada, we can say she's gotten very very needy, as well as very comfortable with using her voice. There's been plenty of times where I'll be working in silence until she waltzes into the room and disturbs the peace by meowing and yelling to beg for attention. I always give in whether I have the time or not, but it's unintentionally taught her that if she just gets louder and louder, eventually she can get her scratches. By being kind, I've created a very pathetic and loud cat. Sometimes
I know how that
Tostada
is.
will walk into the other room, get confused that no one is around, and start echolocating for help until I shout for her, to which she prances happily into the room as if she wasn't just distraught. I don't know if she does this because she actually is lost, or she just wants to hear me call for her, but it happens multiple times a night. Once Tostada was downstairs and howling for me to call her, so I walked out to the area above the stairs where she could see me, but something must have not connected right in her little brain, because instead of going up the stairs that she goes up and down every day, I watched her blank little eyes glaze over, trying to compute what to do. Mom's up there. Tostada's down here.
Oh,
So you want to start a
come on.
podcast, but you're not sure how. Riverside's got you covered. First, go to riverside.com and open an account. And when you're ready to
Tostada wants to go up to Mom. Walking forward doesn't go up. Mom's making circles with her hand, pointing. Don't understand. Tostada wants to go to Mom. She forgot going up the stairs takes her upstairs. If she really needs my attention and howling nonstop hasn't worked, Tostada started pawing at me. She's really not all that coordinated, so I'll be doing something and suddenly feel the shakiest little paw on my arm. One morning, I woke up to a shaky paw on my face. So guess how I wake up every single day now. Tostada loves to lay on my computer because it's so warm, but since her balance is so god-awful, she's fallen off way too many times for me to believe she's got any sense of cause and effect. Normally, she'll notice just a moment too late and struggle to catch herself in whatever pitiful way she can. But the most recent time, she just did not wake up at all and bounced off the floor like a bowling ball. Poor thing opened her eyes and all she could muster was a confused little At some point, Tostada realized she absolutely loves getting little head kisses, so she comes over and begs for them multiple times a day. This is very cute, and I love giving them to her, but there was a time I was too busy to stop what I was doing, so after meowing and shaky pawing, she discovered a new way to ask for attention, standing directly in front of my face and headbutting me in the mouth. I don't know how she consistently innovates new ways to get me to pay attention to her, but can't connect the brain wires to remember to leave a room by herself. We discovered that she has a favorite Pokemon. When Tostada isn't sitting on my neck with her heavy-ass paws or falling off my computer, she's typically at her follow-up spot, which is curled up on my life-size Furret plush. I have a Furret sitting behind a few other plushes up against a window, so I think it was the perfect setup for her to feel safe and secluded while also being able to look out the window to chirp at the birds and squirrels outside, which is really cute. I didn't realize cats could do that. Eventually, I think she just started associating Furret as a bed because she started sitting on another Furret plush I own. Tostada loves Furret a lot. It's her favorite and it's adorable. So one of her favorite things to do is sniff. I know it's a common cat thing, but Tostada outsniffs the other cats combined by an insane margin, and for really no reason other than it brings her joy. I've walked around our home with Tostada held up as high as I can get her so she can explore all the scents she's too small to experience. I can tell she enjoys it because she purrs real loud the whole time in between inhales. Now taught her the command wanna sniff. I'll say it while stretching out something new and she happily prances over to take giant whiffs for a little too long. Tostada particularly enjoys sniffing freshly sipped water bottles. I'll take a swig and somehow she spawns next to me with her peepers, knowing I know what she wants. I swear I don't have bad breath though. Don't spin it in that direction. And minty and fresh. It's the cat that's abnormal. There's only one scent she despises, and that's orange juice. Apparently, cats have a natural aversion to citrus in general, but it feels like it hits Tostada harder than average because she makes the most upset, betrayed face before running out of the room, despite knowing the scent of orange juice.
That was a reference
and
to
knowing
Miss World
she doesn't
Combo.
like it. She still comes over and
think.
begs to take a whiff.
No, it was
Every
from
time orange juice is in
Adventure
the cup
Time.
because she's completely blinded by her love of sniffing water. The result is always the same. It's like watching her be prisoner to her own mind. But one fateful day, Jacob and I witnessed Tostada encountering something even more potent and evil than orange juice. We were cleaning up the kitchen from hanging out with some friends the night before. Tostada jumped onto the counter and spotted something she's never seen before. An open bottle of alcoholic margarita mix. Before we could even warn her, she hopped on over, took a sniff of the opening, and I crossed my heart, I'm not exaggerating, did a backflip in revulsion. Part of me felt like I failed as a cat parent to protect this innocent thing from the horrors of what true stench could look like. And the other part of me was just laughing on the floor. It was so funny. You guys already know Tostada's super paranoid with noises. There's not a single sound she doesn't think means instant threat. But I should mention asterisk because for some reason, any noise I make is completely fine. Jacob scoots the chair a bit, deer in headlights. I open mouth sneeze in her face, must have been the wind. A plush falls off the shelf and lands softly on the carpet, running for her life. I suddenly burst out into a coughing fit, doesn't even care. Doesn't care. Those examples might actually, to be fair, be related to the fact Tostada loves when I get sick. Even though I'm coughing and hacking and sniffling at full volume, the only thing she cares about is that I'm in bed all day, which means she gets to cuddle way more than normal. I really enjoy it. She keeps me company while I sit there rotting and watching movies all week. The only complaint I get from her is if I cough a little too long, she gives me a side eye like I'm ruining our awesome little relaxation day together. But yeah, besides that.
In this video, I'm going to show you how I combine Dromina's Seedance 2.0 with GPT image using Dromina to create cinematic.
Sorry about that.
Besides that, this cat is scared of everything else that does not pertain to me. When I got the Tostada plush in the mail, she actually hated it and wouldn't go anywhere near the thing. Her tail got real big and fluffy, and her eyes somehow got even rounder as she froze in fear for her survival against her. Apparently, she wasn't the only one. A bunch of my friends also said their cats hated the Tostada plush. My overall findings estimated around a 50-50 split on whether a cat will love the Tostada merch plush or try to gouge out its jugular. I unironically think the giant cartoon eyes perfectly trigger their built-in instincts to say this stuffed animal is a giant predator. So all I'm saying is if you get the Tostada plush that's now an evergreen product on my merch site, just to see if your cat is a Tostada lover or hater, you'd be contributing to the community field research. It was a bit too hot out last summer, so I turned on my ceiling fan for the first time. Tragically, since Tostada's never seen it move before, she was petrified and refused to come into my bedroom anymore. Normally, her fears don't interrupt her or my daily life, but I was really upset she wouldn't fall asleep curled up on me anymore. The fear of the in-motion fan overpowered her love of bedtime, and it was a dark period for the household. Eventually, I was able to condition her to the fan, but she still needs to look directly at it for a bit every once in a while to make sure it isn't gonna fall down and slices into cubes. How ironic it is that my birds, who can be killed by a ceiling fan, have no fear of them at all, but my cat, who cannot be killed by the ceiling fan, needed exposure therapy. I think the objectively wackiest thing Tostada is actively terrified of is Frasier after he gets a haircut. Once a year, we take Frasier to get his fur shaved down because it gets way too long for him to take care of, and he quite literally will try to slit our wrists if we try to brush him. It's been the best system that works for all of us. excluding Tostada because she suddenly doesn't recognize him anymore in the slightest and is horrified at the scary new intruder in her home. From her point of view, she witnesses her best friend get hauled out the door and go missing for an hour until some strange ugly freak comes in to replace him and no one seems to care. The first time this happened, Tostada was so distraught that she actually hissed at him, and up until that point she hasn't hissed at anything, so I knew she was going through levels of distress she's never experienced in her tiny sheltered life. We would try to mediate and help her realize the scary flat cat was actually her buddy Fraser all along. Tostada, you love Fraser. He's been around all your life. You cuddle on the couch together all the time. Just take a sniff. I assume it's probably the shampoo that the groomer uses that washes away Fraser's familiar scent. And then, of course, he looks different. So nothing about Fraser is recognizable to Tostada at all anymore. We quite literally have to wait out an entire week for him to grow his fur back out a little and have his natural smell return. Of course, Fraser is very vain, so he takes a hit to his ego every time Tostada freaks out and runs away from him. We watched so many times as he tries to show her that he's the same old Fraser. He'll sit in the doorways of rooms she's in, slowly try to approach and get close to her, but every time is the same story. It's not a great week for anyone. Despite Tostada's fears and general anxiety, there is a ray of hope amongst it all. I have no idea how or why, but Tostada gets brave at night. We could have friends over all day and not see a single Tostada sighting, but once the clock strikes 9 p.m., suddenly there's a little silhouette staring at us from the doorway. As long as it's nighttime and the noise is bearable, Tostada will come out to greet and sniff and rub up on the people she was previously terrified of for reasons I have yet to understand. I know cats like to be active at night and stuff, but Tostada seemingly sheds all her shyness and crippling anxiety in an instant and becomes a completely different cat. My only working hypothesis is that she gains strength knowing her beloved bedtime is right around the corner, and that somehow acts as a bit of newfound courage, but I don't know. I just really think she somehow decided nighttime was safe and there's no reason behind it because her brain is an enigma. I'm glad she can defeat the voices though. We always make sure she gets lots of hugs and kisses every time, so it really encourages her. Alright, so a bit ago Tostada was wheezing every once in a while, so I took her to the vet, who diagnosed her with light bronchitis. I assume it was because she went through a phase where she would eat dust. I prescribed her some antibiotics, and it was then my responsibility to make sure she eats a pill twice a day for the next week. As you can imagine, being that this was Tostada's first time having medicine, it was not gonna be easy for both of us. The first attempt was a learning experience. I managed to get the pill in her mouth and did the little trick where you rub a cat's throat to make sure they don't. But since I just gave her the pill with no treats or anything, I watched as she gagged at the taste of it for a bit. It was not easy to look at. I felt really bad. Determined to try and give her a better experience, I decided to put the pill in a small ball of cheese. You know, cats love a little cheese treat. Except Tostada, because of course she's not normal in even that regard. This so-called cat hasn't showed a single shred of interest in human food ever, because I don't think it registers in her mind what we eat is also food she could technically also eat, and it objectively tastes better in every aspect. It's great because she never begs for food, unlike others. But now, when I present a tasty cheese ball with absolutely no antibiotics in it, she has no idea what to do with it. Eats dust and gives herself bronchitis, but doesn't want to eat cheese. So I was left to force feed cheese twice a day to the only animal in the world that doesn't want cheese. She's all but I would bet money she's forgotten all about the week where I suddenly turned evil for no reason, but walking into her presence with a cheese ball made me feel like I was dragging her down to hell twice a day. Jacob and I were going on a long road trip and planned on taking the cats with us. Taylor and Fraser have experienced both being in a car and being in a car for an extended amount of time before, but we knew poor Tostada was gonna struggle. The main question was, How upset was she's a homebody. She has no desire to ever leave the house, does not want to experience anything new, hates anything that has to do with outside. If it were up to her, every day would be the exact same, everything would be controlled and predictable, zero adventure at all, forever and ever, because she has no concept of time and death. We knew ripping her away from her beloved home just for a bit to sit in a loud, scary vehicle that carries her further and further away from the world she's so attached to would be not her preferred way to spend the day.
Another ad. I'm very sorry, guys.
Hey, can I buy you a drink?
No. Not her preferred way to spend the day. We packed up the cats in their carriers and didn't even get fully out the door until Tostada let out the loudest howl I believe a cat can physically make. This might be the worst day of her entire life. Although we let them out of their carriers so they could be as comfortable as possible. Fraser sat on the little console as if he was a co-pilot. Taylor sat in the back on top of all her snacks and bags, creating her own little cove of solitude. And Tostada hid in the dark under the dusty seat. After a few hours with not a single peep or sign of life, I decided to drag Tostada out from under the chair, both to try and convince her to sit with the rest of us, and also do a wellness check for my own sake. I peeled her out from the floor, and oh my god, are you crying? Tostada's humongous eyes were wet and glossed over, and she had a single tear running down her cheek. This poor thing was so heartbroken over the car ride. She was defying her biology and crying tears of sorrow. This absolutely was the worst day of Tostada's life. She will never be able to understand how lucky she is that the worst thing to ever happen to her is a ride in the car. After a while, she did start emerging to look out the window and wander a bit before going back under for a few more hours. Maybe she was just checking if she'd somehow been magically teleported back home before slinking back under the chair to wallow. But at least she wasn't crying alone on the floor anymore. The sun started setting and the day was fading away as we drove onwards until... Oh. Hi, Tostada. What's got you climbing around and exploring? Oh my god, she's brave at night, even in the car. I just do not know what comes over Tostada at night. At this point, I don't think there's a single thing she'll back down from as long as the moon and stars are out. She was hopping around toes, even though she couldn't see anything because it was all pitch black now. Happily climbed over the passenger seat to sniff around, started meowing and chatting up a storm, kept trying to weasel her way into my lap to take a closer look at the gas pedal. Despite me knowing everything about this cat, every habit, every trait, every quirk, downloaded and forever locked into my mind, I just don't understand how. How is she her own being? She has her own little consciousness in that smaller than average skull of hers that makes her live her own life and makes her own decisions, even though they're very dumb. She shares the same world I do, and yet she digests it so differently. How like her even exist? And how did I get so fortunate to be the one that has her? Tostada experiences so many pointless fears and harmless anxieties that are gonna stick with her until her final days, but her unwavering happiness and joy pierces through all of it effortlessly, and it makes me so proud knowing I'm the one that's giving her this perfect little life. Every day I think about how lucky I am to have the perfect cat made for me, possibly understand and treasure her more. Tostada was simply meant to be mine, and we make each other so happy.
Aww.
If you haven't seen, the new merch is still technically available. We worked hardly fun lineup of new Tostada and Ari plush keychains, Hawaiian shirt, beach towel, and
Oh, so that was me reacting to Jaiden animations and Jaiden animations Tostada videos, if you want to see more of reaction videos in the future, be sure to let me know and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, this is also my first time, yeah, Restream.io streaming service. This is actually my first time using it because like I don't know what's going on with the YouTube live streams. Maybe it's just me being confused and all, or the internet's acting weird. But yeah, when I used it, I think the camera quality here was a lot more better. And as I was like doing a live stream, I think it was also a lot better as well. So I think this is why I'm going to continue on with my live streams now. So yeah. Anyways, if you want to see more live streams like this, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see what I can do with what I can do for my live streams. But anyways, um, I have to get going. You guys are awesome. I love y'all, and see you guys next time. Bye.